Hey Optimancers, Chris here. So I am participating in a one-shot for the D&D 2024 playtest, which will occur on the Insight Check YouTube channel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday, January 25th. I'm going to be joined by Insight Check as the DM, and the additional players will be Pack Tactics and D4 Deep Dive, or Colby as we know him. So these are the rules for this particular one-shot. If a rule is updated in the playtest, we use the updated rule. Existing rules that haven't been updated are available. Optional class features are being used. Now, when I run the playtest, I don't use optional class features and I don't recommend them, but it's the DM's prerogative. And characters are 15th level. We have 3 characters, one from Pack Tactics, who will be playing a cleric, one from D4 Deep Dive, which is primarily a druid, and one from yours truly. Expect 3 combats with 1 short rest before the final fight. And once again, the game will be live streamed on the Insight Check YouTube channel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursday, January 25th, and I will link their channel in the video description. So my character concept, the character is going to be based on Johnny Lawrence from Cobra Kai. And a quick disclaimer, as we go through the build, I'll be in character some of the time, so just be aware that some of the things I say in this video will be very tongue-in-cheek. If you haven't watched Cobra Kai, Johnny Lawrence, who is a very different character from his Karate Kid days, is out of touch, crass, stuck in the 80s, and did I say out of touch? But he's good at karate. We will be combining the offensive power of Cobra Kai karate and the wimpy crap that LaRusso teaches to create the greatest ass-kicking karate of all time, Eagle Fang Karate. Now, Colby did a video covering his build for this one-shot last week, which he called a monk build, but it's going to be primarily druid, though he has a few monk levels as well. I'll be linking his video in the description as well, but rather than quote him, I'm going to let him speak for himself.
I thought it might be the perfect time to make a video about how I would build and play a playtest monk character and share it with you guys. That said, we've got a bit of a problem, and it's that after a lot of analysis and number crunching, I'm realizing that even though monks got some really nice buffs in playtest 8, I think they're still better off multiclassing out after like 5 or 6 levels to get spells. And while that kind of excites me, if I'm being honest, because I love multiclassing, it also kind of bums me out because it tells me that Wizards of the Coast might not quite fully appreciate just how big that gap in power level is between marshals and casters.
Yeah, this guy says that karate is outclassed by spellcaster levels. Sounds like something someone who puts fruit in their beer would say. Here's what happened. I mean, watch the video, but he takes a few levels in monk, but he's so bad at it, he got his ass kicked and he runs away to join a circle of hippie bums for the rest of his career. Tongue out of cheek for a second, we are playing at 15th level. And yeah, that is well into the levels where the martial caster divide really starts to become ugly. Here's the thing though, I'm not sure I 100% agree with Colby here that the playtest hasn't addressed the divide. Now, I'm not saying that marshals and casters are necessarily perfectly equal at high levels, but I'm fairly confident we can build a non-caster monk that still kicks ass at 15th level. Okay, getting back into character. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a real monk build for the playtest. You know, if you don't want to play a character who's a wimpy dork. Starting out, species human. Why human? Because humans are the best. Check it. Resourceful, skillful, versatile. Other species are weak. Colby's an elf, because of course he is. He has fey ancestry. We're resourceful. He can enter a trance. We're skillful. He has keen senses. Yeah, keen is right in the wording. So resourceful gives us inspiration whenever we finish a long rest, meaning I will start the playtest with 1 inspiration. Then skillful, we gain proficiency in a skill of our choice, and versatile, we gain the skilled feat or another first level feat of our choice. So we'll start with the inspiration, and I'll just sit on that advantage until it's needed. Heroic advantage. When you have heroic advantage, also called inspiration, you can expend it to give yourself advantage on a d20 test. Now here's the key. You decide to do so immediately after rolling the d20. So note it says we can give ourselves advantage on a d20 test after the roll. So when we roll terrible, then we throw on advantage for another d20. With skillful, I'll grab the perception skill. Do elves get perception with keen senses? Quiet! They're keen. We're skillful. It's not the same at all. And a free feat. The skilled feat is for dweebs. We take alert. Always on the lookout for danger, we gain the following benefits. Initiative proficiency. When we roll initiative, we add our proficiency bonus to the roll. An initiative swap immediately after we roll initiative, we can swap our initiative with one willing ally in the same combat. We can't make this swap if we're incapacitated or the ally is. So alert scales really nice with level, and this is going to be a +5 initiative to our character. And should one of those nerds get lucky and roll a better initiative than us, well then we can trade with them and they can let a real sensei kick ass. We strike first. And what do we do if the enemy strikes first? Well then we pre-strike first. Here's our starting ability scores and where they will end up. Strength 8, Dexterity 15 will eventually be 20, Constitution 15 will eventually be 16, Intelligence 8, Wisdom 15, eventually 16, and Charisma 8. So what's up with the 8 strength, Johnny? Quiet! Okay, so the playtest actually encourages a custom background, so here's Johnny's. Background, bullied kid turns badass. Our character was a kid in high school when a bully moved to town. Even after doing all we could to contain this dude's fury, the chip on his shoulder was just too big. After stealing our girlfriend, he cheats in a karate tournament by hitting us in the face with an illegal kick. When faced with this kind of harassment, you can either crawl to mommy or man up. We manned up. So with the background, we will get a +2 dexterity and +1 wisdom. That gets our dexterity up to 17 and our wisdom up to 16. We will get 2 skill proficiencies, which will be in athletics and survival, and we will get a background feat, and we will select lucky. You have an inexplicable luck that can kick in just at the right moment. That's right, it kicks, granting you the following benefits. Luck points. You have a number of luck points equal to your proficiency bonus. You can spend the points on the benefits below, and you regain your expended luck points when you finish a long rest. So again, this is one that scales nicely with level. We will have 5 luck points. Advantage. Immediately after you roll a d20 on a d20 test, you can spend 1 luck point to give yourself advantage on the roll. Once again, just like with heroic advantage, we can apply it after the roll is made and give ourselves advantage. And then disadvantage, when a creature rolls a d20 for an attack roll against you, you can spend 1 luck point to impose disadvantage on that roll. So note this one doesn't say that you do it after the roll, meaning when we apply disadvantage to an enemy, it has to be before they roll, meaning the lucky feat no longer negates critical hits. But 5 luck points, sign me up. So we're going 15 levels, and how many will we be going in Monk? 15. We don't half-ass when it comes to karate. We full-ass. We show a little discipline rather than cutting and running away. Like 15 points of discipline. So level 1, Monk 1. We're going to take the skills Acrobatics and Stealth, and we're going to get Martial Arts. Your practice of martial arts gives you mastery combat styles that use your unarmed strikes and monk weapons. Monk weapons are for pussies. We use our fists. So we get a bonus unarmed strike, and we will never use this. We get dexterous attacks. We use our dexterity instead of strength for our unarmed strikes. In addition, when we choose the grapple or shove option, which we will be doing a lot, you can use your dexterity modifier instead of strength to determine the saving throw DC. And martial arts style, you can roll a d6 and place it to normal damage for your unarmed strikes, and that is going to be scaling, so it won't be a d6 for this character. And unarmored defense, when we aren't wearing armor or wearing a shield, which we won't be, our base armor class equals 10, plus our dexterity and wisdom modifiers. This is going to give us a very average armor class, but this character will have significant defenses beyond just their armor class. Level 2, Monk 2, Monk's Discipline. This is where we get our discipline points. And we get the ability to use Flurry of Blows, Patient Defense, and Step of the Wind. So Flurry of Blows, we can spend 1 discipline point to make 2 unarmed strikes as a bonus action. Patient Defense, we can take the Disengage action as a bonus action. That no longer costs discipline points. Alternatively, you can spend 1 discipline point to take both the Disengage and Dodge action as a bonus action. And Step of the Wind, you can take the Dash action as a bonus action. Alternatively, we can spend 1 discipline point to take both the Disengage and Dash actions as a bonus action, and our jump distance is doubled for the turn. All of these features scale at 10th level, so they won't be like this anymore once we're playing this character. And Uncanny Metabolism, when we roll initiative, we can regain all expended discipline points. When we do so, we roll our martial arts die and regain a number of hit points equal to our monk level plus the number rolled. Once we use this feature, we can't use it again until we finish a long rest. Now, we've been told for this one-shot we're expecting 3 fights and 1 short rest before the final fight, which means I can use Uncanny Metabolism at the start of the second fight, and I will start all 3 fights at full discipline, pretty much guaranteed. And Unarmored Movement. Our speed increases by 10 feet while we aren't wearing armor or wearing a shield, so our base speed is now 40. Level 3, Monk 3, Deflect Attacks. This is one reason why you might want to consider going straight Monk rather than leaving at level 5. You can use your reaction to deflect melee and range attacks against you that deal bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage. When you do so, the total damage you take from the attack is reduced by 1d10 plus your dexterity modifier plus your monk level. So how many monk levels are we taking? 15. That's going to be a d10 plus 20 that we can reduce damage from with deflect attacks. And if you reduce the damage to 0, you can spend 1 discipline point to redirect some of the attack's force. If you do so, choose a creature within 5 feet of you if the attack was a melee attack, or 60 feet of yourself that isn't behind total cover if the attack was a ranged attack, and those creatures you select can be the ones who attacked you. That creature must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take damage equal to 2 rolls of your martial arts die plus your dexterity modifier. The damage is the same type dealt by the attack. This is the Eagle Fang Karate way. The best defense is more offense. And our monk subclass is the Warrior of Mercy. Eagle Fang is not all about offense. That's Cobra Kai. Here at Eagle Fang, we combine the kick-ass karate of Cobra Kai and combine it with the weird hand clap healing stuff of Miyagi-Do. I don't know how it works, but we know those other two are going to get the snot beat out of them, so I'll use that technique that LaRusso taught me to fix him up after I'm finished kicking ass and taking names. Cobra Kai is no mercy. Here at Eagle Fang, mercy. Except to our enemies, they still get no mercy. Don't ask me to explain, it's too complicated for you to understand. Implements of Mercy. You gain proficiency in the Insight and Medicine skills, and you gain proficiency with the Herbalism kit. You also gain a special mask, which you can often wear when using the features of this subclass. You determine its appearance, or generate it randomly. My mask is a badass skeleton face paint, but only for Halloween. Hand of Healing. Our Mystical Touch can mend wounds. As an action, we can spend 1 discipline point to touch a creature and restore a number of hit points equal to a roll of our martial arts die plus our wisdom modifier. That's the way chumps heal. We're going to be way better than that. Then Hand of Harm, we can use our discipline to inflict wounds. When we hit a creature with an unarmed strike, we can spend 1 discipline point to deal extra necrotic damage equal to 1 roll of our martial arts die plus our wisdom modifier. We can use this feature only once per turn. We're going to use this feature once per turn. Level 4, Monk 4. Ability score improvement, what do you think? Charger. No enemy is going to escape us. We have trained to charge headlong into battle, gaining the following benefits. Ability score increase, we can increase our strength or dexterity score by 1, so we'll increase our dexterity, which is now 18. Improved dash. When we take the dash action, our speed increases by 10 feet for that action. And here's the big one, charge attack. If you move at least 10 feet in a straight line immediately before hitting with an attack as part of the attack action on your turn, choose one of the following effects. Gain a d8 bonus to the attack's damage roll, or push the target up to 10 feet, provided the target you want to push is no more than 1 size larger than you. You can use this benefit only once on each of your turns. So we will want to use this every turn. We're going to charge up to an enemy, moving at least 10 feet, and as soon as we hit them, we're going to apply the d8 damage bonus, unless we have some reason to push them. And if for some reason we need to dash, we can do so with a 10-foot increase to our movement speed. Level 5, Monk 5. Martial Arts die becomes a d8. We get extra attack, you know what that does. And Stunning Strike. Once per turn, when we hit a creature with our unarmed strike, we can spend 1 discipline point to attempt a Stunning Strike. Target must make a Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, the target has a stun condition until the start of our next turn. That's, of course, the best case scenario. But the worst case scenario, on a successful save, the target still takes force damage, equal to a roll of our martial arts die plus our wisdom modifier. So they succeed on their save, we kick their ass. They fail on their save, we kick their ass. Level 6, Monk 6. This is already more levels of Monk than Colby took on his entire 15th level build. So any feature I go over for the rest of this video, this is stuff that Colby's character won't have and my character will have. So you decide for yourself if you think this stuff is valuable. Unarmored movement, 15 feet, so base speed's now 45. Empowered strikes. Whenever you deal damage with your unarmed strike, it can deal your choice of force damage or its normal damage type. Now, if I'm playing at level 15, I probably have a way to make my attacks magical, but if I am playing at level 6, wouldn't count on it, so Empowered Strikes is very handy at this level. Then we get our next subclass feature, Physician's Touch. You can administer even greater cures with a touch, and if you feel it's necessary, you can use your knowledge to cause harm. It's necessary. When you use a Hand of Healing on a creature, you can also end one disease or one of the following conditions affecting the creature: blinded, deafened, paralyzed, poisoned, or stunned. Unfortunately, it doesn't remove the loser condition. When you use your Hand of Harm on a creature, you can subject that creature to the poison condition until the end of your next turn. The eagle's fangs are poisonous. What do you mean venomous? Sounds like a made-up word. Level 7, Monk 7, Evasion. When you are subjected to an effect that allows you to make a dexterity saving throw to take only half damage, you instead take no damage if you succeed on the saving throw and half damage if you fail. You don't benefit from this feature if you have the incapacitated condition. Evasion is a great feature. I don't know if it'll come up in the one-shot because it's a one-shot and there's only 3 combats. But when it does come up, it is a really good feature. Level 8, Monk 8. Ability score increase, Grappler feat. So what do we get? We can increase our dexterity score by 1, so it's now 19. Attack advantage. You have advantage on attack rolls against a creature grappled by you. And Fast Wrestler. You aren't slowed when you move a creature grappled by you, provided the creature is your size or smaller. And Punch and Grab. When you hit a creature with an unarmed strike as part of the attack action on your turn, you can deal damage to the target and also grapple it. You can only use this benefit once per turn. So what do we want to do? We're going to walk up to the enemy, we're going to punch them with our attack action, and we'll use Punch and Grab to try to grapple them in addition. And should that succeed, every attack we make for the rest of our turn has advantage. And should that creature still be alive on the following turn, we'll have advantage on every attack. And when we drag a creature, normally you're slowed, but with Fast Wrestler we can move at full speed, and that is Monk speed. So really nice feat for this character, and we will have 2 hands free. Level 9, Monk 9, Acrobatic Movement. While we're not wearing armor or wielding a shield, we gain the ability to move along vertical surfaces and across liquids on your turn without falling during the movement. I don't know if this will come up in the one-shot. It depends on the 3 combats, and we'll see what kind of terrain we're dealing with. But if it's a case of flying creatures or creatures on the ceiling, something like Acrobatic Movement could come in really handy. Level 10, Monk 10. Unarmored movement becomes plus 20, so our base speed is now 50. Then, Heightened Discipline. This one is awesome. Now when we spend 1 discipline point to use Flurry of Blows, we make 3 unarmed strikes with it instead of 2. Patient Defense. When we spend a discipline point to use Patient Defense, we gain a number of temporary hit points equal to 2 rolls of our martial arts die. Temporary hit points, by the way, last until the end of your next long rest. So 1 discipline point for Patient Defense in between combats, that's basically a no-brainer. And Step of the Wind. When you spend a discipline point to use Step of the Wind, you can choose a willing creature within 5 feet of you that is large or smaller. You can move the creature with you until the end of your turn. The creature's movement doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. So basically, we can whip around allies to where we need them to be. I don't expect to use Step of the Wind much in combat, and I don't expect to use Patient Defense much in combat. I'm primarily going to be using Flurry of Blows. In fact, I expect to use Flurry of Blows every single turn. Then Self-Restoration. Through sheer force of will, we can remove one of the following conditions from ourselves at the end of each of our turns: Charmed, Frightened, or Poisoned. In addition, foregoing food and drink doesn't give you levels of exhaustion. Listen, I'll forgo food, I am not foregoing my Coors. Level 11, Monk 11. Martial Arts die D10. Flurry of Healing and Harm. This is nice. Okay, so when we use Flurry of Blows, we can now replace each of the unarmed strikes with a use of our Hand of Healing, without spending discipline points for the healing. In other words, we can spend 1 discipline point, and we get 3 attacks with Flurry of Blows. We can replace them all with Hand of Healing, meaning we can heal 3 times 1 discipline point. In addition, when we make an unarmed strike with Flurry of Blows, we can use Hand of Harm with that strike without spending the discipline point for Hand of Harm. You can still only use Hand of Harm once per turn, so more discipline points for other things. How often are we going to be using Hand of Harm? Every single turn. Every single turn will be Flurry of Blows, every single turn will be doing Stunning Strike, and every single turn will do Hand of Harm. Level 12, Monk 12. Ability score increase, Dexterity +1 brings it up to 20, and Constitution +1 brings it up to 16. Then level 13, Monk 13. This is fantastic. Deflect Energy. This is one of the reasons you want to go straight Monk. You can now use your Deflect Attacks feature against attacks that deal any damage type, not just bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing. So on any round where this character gets attacked at least once, they can use Deflect Energy to reduce that damage. And remember, that scales with Monk level. So when this character uses Deflect Energy, they'll reduce damage way more than a 5th level Monk does with Deflect Attacks, even if the attack does bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing. And if we reduce the damage to 0, which in our case is a pretty decent chance, then we can redirect the attack to do even more damage. The best defense is more offense. Then level 14, Monk 14. Unarmored movement plus 25 feet, so base speed is now 55, and we get Discipline Survivor. Our physical and mental discipline grant us proficiency in all saving throws. Additionally, whenever we make a saving throw and fail, you can spend 1 discipline point to re-roll it and take the second result. Now, the nice thing here is this does combine with Lucky and Heroic Advantage, because if I make a saving throw and I roll a d20 and it looks like I'm going to fail, what Luck does and what Heroic Advantage does is it allows us to apply advantage to the roll, so it's still the initial roll. That means we can replace it using a discipline point to re-roll it and take the second result. So we technically can have 3 chances to succeed on any saving throw, and we're proficient in all of them with a +4 as our minimum modifier. I don't know how many saving throws we'll be facing in the one-shot. I hope it's a lot. I want them to be strength saving throws. Then I'm going to laugh at those weakling dweebs. And we finish up at level 15, Monk 15. I did consider dipping another class here, but number 1, I kind of wanted to go straight Monk. And number 2, there are some reasons to do it. Perfect Discipline isn't one of them, but we do get 1 additional discipline point, and we do get our Deflect Energy up to a D10 plus 20. So there are benefits to 15th level, even if Perfect Discipline will never come up for this character, because we will never roll initiative and have 3 discipline points or fewer. We're always going to have full discipline. But I thought about all the dips I could do with this character, and none of them made sense. I'll take the extra discipline point and the scaling to Deflect Energy. So our final build at level 15, these are the saving throws. Strength +4, Dexterity +10, Constitution +8, Intelligence +4, Wisdom +8, and Charisma +4. Potentially 3 rolls to succeed on any saving throw. Skills, Acrobatics +10, Insight +8, Perception +8, Stealth +10, Survival +8, Medicine +8, and Athletics +4. Walking speed, 55 feet. Initiative, +10. And we can apply advantage to that if we need it. Armor class, 18. That's so-so. So discipline points, 15. What can we spend them on? 1 point for Flurry of Blows. Gives us 3 unarmed strikes as a bonus action. I'll be doing this all the time. Patient Defense. Gives us dodge, disengage, and 2d10 temporary hit points as a bonus action. I'll be doing it mainly for the temporary hit points in between combats. Step of the Wind. Dash with a +10 feet from Charger. And then disengage, we bring along a willing creature of large size or smaller with movement as a bonus action. Not expecting to need this, but it's there if we need it. 1 point for Stunning Strike. I'll be doing this every turn as well. Con save, DC 16 or stunned, and a D10 +3 force damage on a successful saving throw. Then 1 point for Redirect Attack. When we reduce damage to 0 through Deflect Energy, we redirect the damage to a creature within 5 feet for melee or 60 feet for range, and the damage is 2d10 +5, and they can avoid that damage with the Dexterity saving throw. Then Discipline Survivor. We can re-roll a failed saving throw, taking the new result. If I need to use it, I'll use it. The optional class feature Quicken Healing is for losers. We use Hand of Healing. And Focused Aim, 1 to 3 discipline points, increasing our attack roll by 2 for each of these discipline points we spend. I'm not necessarily planning to use Focused Aim, but then again, I'm planning on hitting all the time. And we'll have a couple reactions. First, we have Deflect Energy. We reduce damage from any attack by 1d10 plus 20, and if the damage is reduced to 0, we can spend 1 discipline point to redirect it. And Slow Fall, we can reduce our falling damage by 75, and we will never take more than 75 points of falling damage, so if we use Slow Fall, we take 0 damage. So we should talk about the equipment for this one-shot, so keep in mind this is for this particular one-shot. We're allowed any non-magical equipment within reason. I really don't need a lot of stuff. I'll probably take something like a lantern, and I'll probably take a short bow with some arrows just in case something's at range and I can't attack it otherwise. And I don't know, an explorer's pack maybe. But I really don't need much for this character. Then we get 7 points in magic items, with very rare costing 5, rare 4, uncommon 3, and common 1. So I asked about this item right here, Dragon's Wrath Weapon, and I asked whether it could be applied to hand wraps. DM said it was okay. That's what I'm doing. So Dragon's Wrath hand wraps, Amethyst Dragon, and I'm spending 5 points for a very rare item. Whenever we roll a 20 on our unarmed strikes, each creature of our choice within 5 feet of the target takes 5 force damage. We gain a bonus of +2 to attack and damage rolls with unarmed strikes. On a hit, the target takes an extra 2d6 force damage, and as an action, we can unleash a 30-foot cone of destructive energy from the hand wraps. Each creature in that area must make a DC 16 dexterity saving throw, taking 8d6 force damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one. Once this action is used, it can't be used again until the next dawn. Dragon's Wrath weapons, if you get them with enough rarity, become very good. And I have 2 additional points. I can get common items, so I'll get 2 Spell Rot Tattoos at first level, Long Strider on both of them. So the strategy out of combat for this character, I'm going to spend 1 discipline point for Patient Defense, and that'll give me 2d10 temporary hit points. Before the first and last combat, I'm going to cast Long Strider, and that'll give me a base movement of 65 for 1 hour. And I'm going to use Healing Hands to heal up if I need to. And I'll recover discipline with heightened metabolism after the first combat, because I'm going to have a short rest after the second combat. Now, if you're actually just playing this character, you can't plan like that. The DM has given us information, and we're using that information to make informed decisions. But we don't always have that information. And I'll tell you right now that originally I had suggested we have no rest, because it's just 3 combats. But guess what? The other 2 players weren't too keen on that idea. But that's the advantage of going straight monk, is I would have had enough resources to extend this character's resources for 3 combats. Wouldn't have been a big deal. I maybe wouldn't use Stunning Strike every turn, but the advantage of continuing in monk is largely building that discipline point reserve. So when you can't count on a short rest after 2 combats, and you can't count on a long rest after 3, you have a character who can keep on going. So my strategy in combat, I'm going to attempt to move at least 10 feet in a straight line, ending movement next to an enemy. Then I will take the attack action. I'm going to use an unarmed strike, and if I hit, I will attempt Stunning Strike and a grapple. That's why I'm doing the attack action before Flurry of Blows, because the grapple can only be done as part of an unarmed strike with the attack action using the grappler feat. Then I will make a second unarmed strike. And if the enemy is either grappled or stunned, so that's 2 saving throws that they have to pass. Otherwise, I will have advantage. If I don't have advantage, then I will forgo this unarmed strike and attempt a grapple or shove prone. Then I will expend 1 discipline point for Flurry of Blows, and I'm going to apply Hand of Harm to the first Flurry of Blows hit, and then I will make 3 unarmed strikes, and I'll have advantage if they're grappled or stunned. And once I've done that, if the enemy is grappled, I'll drag them somewhere where it's bad to be, like a bad spell effect or something like that. Once my turn is over, I'm going to deflect the first attack that hits, and if I reduce it to 0, I'm going to spend 1 discipline point to redirect it. So how effective do I expect this to be? Well, I will have 5 attacks at +12 to hit. I'm going to assume I'm going to have advantage about half the time. Damage is going to be a d10 plus 2d6 plus 7, or 19.5 on average. Hand of Harm does a d10 plus 3, or 8.5 on average. Stunning Strike does a d10 plus 3, or 8.5 on average, if they succeed on their save. If they fail on their save, even better. And then Redirect Attack. I expect I might be able to do this maybe every other round. That's just a guess, of course. But if we do, then it's 2d10 plus 5, or 16. They can use a Dexterity save, and if they succeed, they take no damage. So if I have advantage half the time, then I'll have about an 80.5% chance to hit on average, with 19.5 average damage and 5 attacks. That's 78.49 damage. And then criticals, about 7.5% of the time, times 12.5 extra damage, 4 criticals, times 5 attacks is 4.69. Then I am going to hit once. And basically 100% of the time, I'm going to be able to apply Hand of Harm to some attack and Stunning Strike to some attack during the round. And between the two, that's 17 points of damage. There's also a chance those attacks could be a critical hit, 7.5% to be exact, times 11 is another 0.83, and then for redirecting attacks, about another 4 points of damage per round. I expect to do about 105 damage a round. We'll see, there's a lot of variables, but that's my expectation. So how many discipline points will I be expending, and is there a chance I'll run out? Well, I'm going to be spending 1 for pre-combat temporary hit points of 2d10. I'll spend 1 per round on Flurry of Blows. Remember that Hand of Harm is free with Flurry of Blows. 1 per round on Stunning Strike, and about 1 every other round for redirecting attacks when I get the opportunity to do so. These are the discipline points I need to expend to deliver the damage that I was expecting. Well, I can do the full routine on the first 5 rounds of every single combat. Most combats I would expect to be done by then. If we do have a round 6, I won't be able to redirect the attack on that round. I expect we will often end combats in less than 5 rounds, in which case I will have discipline points left over, and any leftover I can use for Hand of Healing, healing 3d10 plus 3 or 19.5 on average per discipline point spent. Now, is this a straight monk going to be overshadowed by the spellcasters in the party? Maybe. I guess we're going to see. That's the point of playtesting. I want to know whether Colby was right, and that at level 5 you really should be multiclassing out of monk, or whether it was viable to continue as monk, and we will get a little snapshot into that on Thursday the 25th. I hope you'll tune in. Otherwise, until next time, I'm going to sit back, relax, and have some fun. D&D is for everyone. Thanks everybody. Talk to you soon.